Hi, this instructional video is about finding the midpoint of a segment. Midpoint of a segment. It kind of relates to the last instructional video dealing with the distance formula. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually use the same coordinate points that were used to determine the distance between the two. The length of it, that is. And we did that by using the distance formula. So here's another sheet of paper with the same coordinate points. And now we're going to talk about the midpoint. So here we have the same coordinate points. So once again, let me illustrate this one. So last time, using the distance formula, we said the distance between the first point and the second point is 7 unit measurements. 17 unit measurements. There we go. Now the question is this. Well, obviously, half of the 17 is going to be 8.5. So we know from here to there, halfway is 8.5. But where in the middle is that 8.5? What is the coordinate point? Like if I told you from here, our school to McDonald's is like 4,000 feet. So then if we went just 2,000 feet halfway, where will I be? Maybe at the gas station? I don't know. So to find that, we use a formula for, it's not even really a formula, it's finding the midpoint. And it is given as x of 1 plus x of 2. Divide that by 2, and that will give you the x-coordinate of the midpoint. And for the y, it's y sub 1 plus y sub 2 divided by 2. Just out of curiosity, do you recall a situation where we would add two numbers and divide it by 2? When would we do that? Yeah, to find the average of the two, or the mean of the two data. If we're talking about statistics, probabilities. So in this case, we need to go back and label this as x1, y1. Then this will be x2, y2. And what I just labeled x1 is negative 2. And this time, unlike the distance formula, we're going to add the second x value, which is 6. And whatever that is, we're going to divide it by 2 to find the middle, the average of the two distance. And the y is 1. Plus y sub 2 is 16. And divide that by 2 also. So when we evaluate, it's like saying you owe the bank $2 and you put in $6. Guess what your balance is? It's $4. And 1 plus 16 is 17. And then when we simplify further, 4 over 2 is simply 2. And 17 over 2 is like saying 2 goes into 17. What is it? 8 times? And you end up with a half. So this is the x and y coordinate of the midpoint. So let's see if it's pretty consistent. The x is 2, so 1, 2, and 8.5. 2, 4, 6, 8.5 somewhere there. I just made the coordinate real big. Yeah. So that is 2 and 8.5. And that's how you find the midpoint. Why don't you try that one? You don't have to draw the graph, but use this formula here for the midpoint of a segment. Go ahead. Okay, so the first thing you should have done, just like on number 1 here, is to label the given coordinates as x1, y1. Then this is x2, y2. And I would always build a habit of writing the formula down each time I use it. So in this case, it's x sub 1 plus x sub 2 divided by 2, and y sub 1 plus y sub 2 divided by 2. And what I just labeled x sub 1 is, of course, negative 1 plus x sub 2 is 4. And whatever you get, I'm going to divide it by 2. And y sub 1 is negative 3 plus y sub 2 is negative 5. This time we're combining two negatives, which will make it into a bigger negative. So negative 1, it's like saying you owe the bank $1, you put in 4, guess what your balance is? Yeah, $3. And negative 3, 3 bad guys. Added to 5 more bad guys. How many bad guys do you have total? 8 bad guys. And 3 over 2 in a mixed number form is like saying 1 and 1/2. And negative 8 divided by 2, remember, when you multiply or divide a negative and a positive, it always comes out to be a negative. And 8 divided by 2 is, of course, 4. And there is your new coordinate, the midpoint between these two given points on the graph. And finally, number 3, what's the first thing you should do? Yeah, label them x1, y1, x2, y2. Remember, mathematics is all about patterns. So I would use consistently same way of doing things as well. So the formula is x of 1 plus x of 2 divided by 2. Yes, I'm going faster now. And then y sub 1 plus y sub 2 divided by 2. X of 1, what is it? Yeah, negative 5. Plus, what's x of 2? Right there, negative 2. And just like before, we're combining two negatives, which will make into a bigger negative. Divide that by 2. Y sub 1 is 2. Plus, y sub 2 is negative 7. Uh-oh, be careful now. Divided by 2. Now let's evaluate. Negative 5 combined with negative 2 becomes a bigger negative, which is negative 7 over 2. And here, it's like saying you had $2 in a bank. And you were going to put in some money, but you changed your mind and took it out instead. $7. What's your bank balance? Well, you took out too much, so you're going to owe the bank negative 5 over 2. Some teachers will say that this is a good answer right there. But if you want to visualize where it is on the coordinate plane like this, you can make it into a mixed number. So 2 goes into 7 without going over 3 times, and you have 1/2 left. But remember, when you multiply or divide a negative and positive, it's negative. Same here, it's going to be a negative. And 2 goes into 5 without going over 2 times, and you're left with 1/2. And there is your coordinate point of your x and y. That will be the middle between these two given coordinate points on the graph. There you have it, midpoint.